Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Living an Unlived Life. This is the 6th video in my Mindset Reset Challenge series, which came about when, in late 2024, I decided to radically change my life by making not one, but a whopping 52 New Year's resolutions. If this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, you can find the introduction to this series here. In this week's activity, I challenged myself to explore an industry that I'd shunned for decades, my whole life actually. From my mid-teens onwards, my mother, who wore foundation and bright red lipstick every day to her dying day at age 100, had implored me to wear makeup. But being an outdoors sort of girl, for a long time the only cosmetic product I used was chapstick. Even when I joined the workforce, I just wore mascara and a bit of blusher. For a long time, I've only worn makeup when I go out at night, and my regular makeup bag is a miserable collection of random items, some foundation, mascara, 2 shades of blusher, a worn-out eyebrow pencil, and a large collection of lipsticks, few colours of which suit me. Then I have this mess of old makeup bits and pieces, none of which I've used in a very long time. So when I started this YouTube channel at the end of 2024, vanity got the better of me. If I was going to be on camera, I'd need to look a bit more presentable. But at age 70, my skin was sun-damaged from the thousands of hours I'd spent outdoors, plus decades of wearing swim goggles in the pool every day had left dark rings below my eyes. So at the top of my list of 52 challenges for 2025 was to have a professional makeup consultation. My 2 key goals were to learn how to best cover up my motley skin and to rediscover my eyebrows, which had faded into oblivion. The annual value of the global cosmetics market is over $600 billion, with the bulk of cosmetics manufacturing being carried out by the big-name brands, although there's also thousands of much smaller cosmetic companies. In terms of retail, at one end of the spectrum are the supermarkets, which predominantly sell the cheaper global brands, plus some pharmacies, such as Chemist Warehouse in Australia, which offer a wide range of the more popular brands. Department store chains also sell their fair share of cosmetics through concession areas allocated to the major brands. More recently, cosmetic specialty shops have emerged, both online and in bricks and mortar, some of which sell only their own products. However, the most significant change in the retail cosmetics sector over the last decade has been the move towards online sales of direct-to-consumer brands. In addition to manufacturing and retail personnel, the cosmetic industry employs a large number of professional makeup artists. The range of professional services offered has expanded massively over the last 2 decades, particularly in terms of providing services to the wedding industry. A bride can find herself under pressure to not only have wedding makeup done by a professional on the morning of a big day, but to have at least one trial makeup session a few weeks beforehand. Then there's manicures and pedicures and spray tans for herself and her bridesmaids in the days immediately before the wedding. In terms of brand choice, social media platforms, and particularly Instagram, are the main source of information about new products for beauty shoppers, with some social influencers who promote products through social media having absolutely huge followings. For example, Kylie Jenner, who has her own cosmetics brand, has a personal account of over 300 million people. Sadly, the unfettered power of social media influencers places immense pressure on women, and particularly young women, to become involved in the practice of artificial beauty enhancement, often to the point where they feel bad if they don't wear makeup, and if they do, they feel overwhelmed by the extraordinary choice of products available and by the bottomless cost of participating. When I decided to have a professional makeup session, I searched online for services in my hometown of Canberra. As with elsewhere in the country, the services side of the cosmetics industry breaks into 2 main sectors: small commercial retail businesses and home-based businesses. Influenced by the thought that I might get a more personal level of care, I initially opted to go with a home-based business. However, when I tried to contact several of them, I struggled to connect. Their online presence offered little opportunity for personal contact, with no capacity to ask questions about their services, For 2 weeks, I had no response to any of my emails, phone calls and text messages. Admittedly, though, it was early January, a time in Australia when many small business owners take an extended summer holiday. Disappointed, I decided to explore the option of going to a bricks and mortar retail business and settled on Mecca Maxima in the Canberra Centre shopping mall. When I looked at the many services offered on the Mecca Maxima website, it was obvious that what I needed was a makeup lesson. However, I couldn't book online as I needed to confirm that I would be allowed to film the process. When I went to the store to ask, I was told that the decision would be up to whomever makeup artist was booked to provide my lesson, and the store wouldn't know who that would be until the day of the lesson. But I decided to take the risk and booked anyway for a 90-minute makeup lesson. I then received an email from one of the home-based makeup artists I'd previously contacted by email. When I asked about filming, she replied immediately that it wouldn't be a problem, so I made a booking with her as well for a 2-hour makeup lesson. Mecca Maxima is a subsidiary of the Australian Mecca Brands Company, which has about 100 stores across Australia and New Zealand. Maxima stores offer a large range of products for customers to try at liberty in its shops, with staff on hand to help provide advice. The shop also contains a makeup bar where lessons are conducted and event makeup sessions carried out. Before she started, my makeup artist confirmed my goals for the session, then went away to select a basket of products from the shop's shelves, which she thought would best suit me. She also brought a face chart on which she wrote the details of each makeup product she used during the lesson, plus some tips for their application. She started with the basics of cleaning and moisturising my skin and recommended that I use 5 different products for this: micellar water to cleanse, followed by Shiseido Essence, Shiseido Sculpt Cream, Shiseido Eye Cream and a skin primer. This was followed by a tinted foundation, which she spent some time colour matching to my skin tone, then showed me how to apply the foundation with a brush myself. Then, most importantly, she showed me how to apply concealer to hide the dark rings under my eyes. Finally, she applied some powder on top of the foundation to take off any shine. Next came bronzer, which was applied below my cheekbones, and blusher, which was applied above that. This was followed by the application of a special eyebrow brush with a series of bristles that drew a line along my non-existent eyebrows and which my makeup artist used to map out the correct lines. She then applied a dusting of brown brow powder with an angled brush to reinforce the line. Eyeshadow came next in several shades of brown, olive and a creamy shimmer, followed by a waterproof mascara. Finally, we chose lip liner and lipstick colours, and my makeup was complete, except for a light spraying of fixative. At the end of my lesson, I was fully expecting a marketing talk and had firmly resolved to deflect this. I really didn't want to spend a lot of money on makeup at this stage because I had a second lesson booked for a week's time, so I was more than pleasantly surprised to be offered the equivalent of the cost of my lesson to spend on products in the shop, and, of course, I ended up spending more money than that. I took home a bronzer and a blusher, 2 eyeshadows and, most importantly, the special microblade eyebrow pen. My makeup lesson was fabulous. So much fun, nice to be pampered, just wonderful. A week later, I drove to a very elegant makeup studio in a private house in the outer Canberra suburbs for my second makeup lesson. After talking about my goals, the beauty therapist gave me a set of forms for me to fill in with details of the lesson as it progressed. She explained that the set of 11 brushes were designed to be used in the order that they were set out in the brush roll, and mentioned that, at the end of the session, I could buy the set for $70. She also described how the metal palette was used for applying makeup instead of using the back of one's hand. In addition to running through a skin cleansing and moisturising routine, she emphasised the importance of using blockout on my face every day. She also explained that, like food, most makeup products had a use-by date and went off after that time, so I should throw away any old makeup. Plus, she explained the best routine for cleaning the set of makeup brushes. The sequence of applying makeup was the same as the Mecca lesson, with primer applied first, followed by foundation and concealer. She then explained the sets of colour palettes made by Harlot, which contain a variety of different pans for cheek contouring and blusher, eyeshadow and eyebrow delineation. We decided on the warm palette and applied contouring below my cheekbones and blusher above in a very similar way to which I'd learned in the Mecca lesson. Rather than use an eyebrow pencil, however, she brushed on a cream tint which had a similar texture to eyeshadow to enhance my eyebrows. This was also used instead of an eyeliner pencil or liquid eyeliner, which I found much easier. This was followed by a special type of tubing mascara that doesn't stain under the eyes when it is removed, but instead rolls off in tubes and comes off easily with water. It has a two-step application process that gives more volume and length to eyelashes. Finally, we decided on a lip liner colour and a lipstick. She showed me a technique for testing lipstick colour in the shops by putting some along each finger, then holding the finger up to your lips to check whether the colour suited. She ended her presentation with a full summary of her recommended makeup sequence, covering every product she'd used and how she'd applied it. I found this summary extremely useful. After the lesson, it was obvious that I needed to buy the brush set and the metal palette, plus I also purchased several types of makeup that I hadn't bought after the first lesson: a lip liner, lipstick, mascara, and the Harlot Warm palette, and the Harlot foundation and concealer. While it seemed quite an indulgence to have 2 makeup lessons, I learnt different techniques and experienced 2 very different sets of makeup products from which I could choose the products that I preferred. I drove away extremely happy without thinking at all about the total amount of money that I'd just spent. Immediately after the second makeup lesson, I went to Chemist Warehouse and bought a bottle of Nivea micellar water and a pump pack of Embryolisse Lait Crème Fluide face cream. A few days after the Mecca Maxima lesson, I went back to buy some foundation and concealer, although Mecca did not have the concealer in stock. With beauty fever upon me, the day after I had the second makeup lesson, I looked at my much neglected feet and immediately decided that I needed a pedicure. I had started having regular pedicures in summer 15 years ago when a friend had given me a gift voucher, and I had kept having them in summer for the next 10 years, but then for a variety of reasons I had stopped. So I went back to the same salon in Woden Plaza, which is managed by a group of the most wonderful Vietnamese ladies who laugh and chatter in their own language while providing excellent service. It was such a joy to be there for 45 minutes of indulgence after 5 years of abstinence. The 2 makeup sessions had each proved that I could hide the sun-damaged skin on my face in a reasonably natural way, and I was happy with that. However, in my opinion, both makeup artists had failed to give me eyebrow lines that I was happy with. My private beautician had recommended an eyebrow specialist, so I had an appointment with her a few days later. Her technique is to dye a line of skin as well as the eyebrow hairs and eyelashes. The resulting massive lines took a few days to subside, but after that I was left with eyebrows I was really happy with. When I finally added up all the money that I had spent on this challenge, it came to a shocking $908.97. I was suddenly filled with buyer's remorse and I felt a bit ill about it all. Did I really need to spend nearly $1,000 just to look a bit more presentable on video? I had found some products that nicely covered my sun-damaged skin, and I had found ways to regain the look of my eyebrows, but was it all worth it? But then, when I compared my pitiful makeup collection to what I had learned from 2 very professional and personable makeup specialists and the beautiful products that I had purchased, I realised how much happier and more confident I felt wearing makeup, and I decided I was glad that I'd spent all that money. With the exception of foundation, I hadn't doubled up on anything. For any older woman wondering whether to have a makeup lesson, for lots of reasons I'd say yes, as well as being something caring and fun to experience. I now feel so much more confident and content about the way I look in public and on video, which was the main aim of the exercise. In my next episode, I take on my 5th challenge in this series, going to the National Museum of Australia, which, despite only being a 10-minute drive away, I've never visited. My 2 main reasons for going are firstly to see the travelling exhibition on Pompeii, and secondly to see for myself the extent to which the museum curators have rewritten Australian history. For more information about living your own unlived life, if you go to my website, you can download a copy of my free book, Living Your Unlived Life, Finding Contentment by Honouring Your Dreams. And if it's your thing, you could like this video and subscribe to my channel.